Hello there, viewers, and welcome to exactly where we left off from last episode. Yes, we're picking this up because we got a big transfer window ahead of us. There are several players that have expressed their desire to leave or are being courted by big clubs. So I want to try and hold off as much as possible on either selling them. If we can't hold off, then try to get as much money as we possibly can for them. I also want to try and make this a double upload day. Do half of the transfer window at the start in the first episode and half of the transfer episode in the other half, because I know there's going to be a lot of content going back and forth trying to make dealings and whatnot, matches as well. So if we can try and get 25 likes on this episode within the first, say, 3 hours that this is up, then I'll upload the second half of the transfer window today as well, and you can see what happens at the end of that. Okay? Sound good? Then let's start the show. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here, and welcome back to the Basque Boys. As always, if you are still enjoying the series, please do go and drop it a like. Now, like I said, we're coming up to a transfer window, and we're going to go through that entire thing because of the players that want to leave or are being courted by other teams. And one of those players I mentioned in the last episode is Lekwe. He has been one of those players that has expressed his desire to leave, and leave mostly to Manchester United. As you can see down here, Spurs, Juventus, Barcelona also wanted to come in for him, but he specifically wants to go to Manchester United. They haven't even put in a bid yet, so I don't know what he's complaining about. But also, taking a look at his estimated value, only 2.2 million euro. He has a 20 million euro release clause, and that is what I'm going to try and get from these big clubs. If they don't match that, then I'm going to just nix every single offer. And a name that should be coming as no surprise to anybody, AthleticBilbaoHooligans, is starting to get looked at by teams. They're sending scouts over and whatnot. Juventus, as well as Manchester United and Manchester City, also sending scouts for our last few matches to take a look at him. Now, they haven't come in with any actual bids. It obviously doesn't say that they're being looked at just yet, but I feel like in this transfer window, we need to keep a hold of Villalibre. I mean, obviously we need to keep a hold of Villalibre. He scored 14 goals in 15 matches for us. The fact of the matter is, though, his release clause is low, so I'm going to try and give him a new contract and bump that release clause up. So if somehow he does go away, we will have a good chunk of money coming back in for him. So he's currently on £23,000 a week, and I'm going to bump that up to 30,000. I'm going to see if I can get 30 million for a release fee for him over the next 5 years. And the agent apparently doesn't like that, so we'll just drop it back down to 30. Let's see if we can bump this up to 20. Okay, the limit that the agent puts is 24 million euro as a release clause. That's not high enough, but if it'll allow us to keep a hold of him, if it'll, make him sign a new contract and then, take away all the other contracts that are on the table for him by other clubs, then that's good for us. And I also just realized we have several matches to go through during this time frame that we're not going to play any of them. We're just going to do a recap, and I hope you bear with me on that. I just want to get through this transfer window and show exactly how the squad is going to change, if it's going to change at all. And one of those matches, of course, being the second leg of the Copa del Rey, taking on Cadiz, beating them by the score of 4-2, 6-2 on aggregates, advancing us to the next round. 4 different goal scorers, as you can see here, and also a rare start by John Anders Sarantes. Like I said, Ghana wasn't having the best of times, so I decided to bring in Sarantes every now and then to try and get him some playtime this season. We're going to be taking on Las Palmas in the next round, which the Copa del Rey is really interesting because they draw everybody. Once the 4th round comes about, they draw everybody in the Copa del Rey, and you play it out in a tree formation. I'll show you this right now. See, everybody plays in a tree. If we go back to the 4th round, this is how everybody was drawn out. We were drawn here at the very, very bottom. So that means in this bracket, it's almost like an NCAA style bracket, very apt for this time of year. The bracket we're in also has Atletico Madrid as well as Barcelona. So we're going to be facing off against one of those teams potentially in the quarterfinals, and if we get past them, Barcelona in the semis, but that remains to be seen. We have Las Palmas next round, potentially Atletico and Espanyol in the quarterfinals, etc., all the way up to the finals. So yeah, now the thing is with Leque, if he does in fact get sold off, the only real option at right back that we could possibly bring in is Ander Kappa. He's at Villarreal right now. I could bring him in for a small fee, probably around 2.5 million euros, and him and Marco Echeverri will be fighting it out along the right-hand side. It's not ideal because Leque is clearly the best right back that I have at my disposal out of all the Basque players. So bringing in Kappa or having to use Echeverri is a clear step down. Now, if I had to go after a striker, if Villalibre was poached away from us, John Batista would still be the starter, but Guillermo would be a competent backup. He's at Eibar, 26 years old, 13 finishing, decent composure, decent off the ball, just a decent backup striker at that. Like I said, John Batista would be the number one, but I need to have depth. Another transfer prospect that I've wanted to go after for the last couple of years is Ander Herrera. Now, the thing about him is he's in the last year of his contract with United, and they've made no indication that they want to re-sign him, so I could potentially throw out the idea of getting him out of Bosman. However, I don't know if he wants to come to a club that has a stature such as ours. So I'll definitely try, and if he doesn't want to come to us, then I'll wait until the end of the season to see if he does in fact get picked up by someone else, or if he just gets released on a free, and then I'll try then. Now, getting back into the league, we travel out to the islands of Las Palmas and come away with a very solid 3-0 victory. Marino, Villalibre, Susaeta all getting on the score sheet. Villalibre marking his new contract by getting a goal and getting extra money. I'm sure he's very happy about that. Please don't leave me, Villalibre. 19 shots, 9 on target, 55%. Everyone up and down the pitch played extremely well, and getting ourselves firmly planted in third place, that hopefully we can continue with that form going forward. Now, this is the last match before the transfer window opens, so expect there to be some transfer dealings, goings on, and whatnot before the next match's recap. Now, all this talk about looking outside the club, if Villalibre leaves, why not just promote from within? Gorka Santa Maria apparently has been on a tear at the Bilbao Athletic side. 17 goals in 18 matches. Yes, he does not have the stats or the attributes like a Villalibre or a John Batista, but he would be a perfect backup. And I wouldn't have to spend money on going after someone like Guillermo or anybody else. I could just promote up. So, yeah, I got somebody at least in one option if the worst happens there. So I don't look at the social feed very often, but the first two things that came up as soon as I popped in on the day, and they both revolve Manchester United. The first thing being Ander Herrera, reportedly a target for Athletic. Yes, not 26.5. I'd like to try and get him on a free, but then the one right above that, Manchester United, indicate their interest in Inigo Leque. That's not good, like I said, and they are trying to go in for a 6.75 million bid. No, buddy, 20 million. That's his release clause. That's what you're going to have to pay me if you want this man. Oh, if you're wondering who got the Ballon d'Or, who do you think? Okay, I gotta laugh at this offer from Juventus. They are coming in saying 2.2 million. Yeah, we'll offer him what his value is right now. You know what I'm going to do? And this is probably going to be the stupidest thing. I'm not going to do 20 million. You know what? If you want them, you offer me 20 million. I'm not even going to negotiate you when you're offering me a tenth of what his release clause is. So no, reject, outright, get out of my face, Juventus. And as if Spurs haven't gotten enough of my players, they're also starting to get some intentions about picking up Mikel Merino, which to that I say, Once again, you're going to have to match any sort of release clause that I have on them, and him, it's 68 million. I don't think Spurs are going to offer 68 million, but that's the reason why I have it there. It's to deter teams like them to try and pick them up very easily. So yeah, Mikel Merino is not going to be for sale. First league game of this new year, and within the transfer window, who knows how many of these players are actually going to stay around. We actually got a win versus our rivals in Real Sociedad, beating them by a score of 2-1 at home. Villalibre, Munain getting goals on the score sheet, and Munain, I just offered him a new contract since his was going to be running out by the end of next year, and I wanted to tie him down for quite a while. Sorry, Munain. I keep forgetting that I've said his pronunciation about 3 times already, 3 different times. But anyway, outside of that, a very dominant performance up and down the pitch, 64% possession. We were lighting up their nets with shots, forcing their goalkeeper to make some saves, and at the end of the day, coming away with a win. Now, out of all the players that potentially could have had deals made for them, I wouldn't expect anything for Isma Lopez. Now, originally, at the start of the season, if you remember, I was trying to get rid of Isma Lopez because I was bringing in Monreal and Yuri. I just didn't think that anybody would have actually made any more attempts to go after Isma Lopez, but it seems like Granada want to come in for him, unfortunately for a little bit too low of an asking price. I'm going to say 850. We're going to drop, or we're actually going to bump this up to 300,000 for the monthly installments. So roughly about 1.2 million euro to see if they will agree with that. And they will. He's valued at $1 million, so just getting a little bit above value for him. And like I said, I was trying to get rid of him at the start of the season to make way for Monreal and Yuri, and now we can finally get that deal done. Now, as I was just saying about offering Muniain a contract, he does in fact accept the terms, and he's going to be with us for now 50,000 per week. 35 million in the release clause, and he's with us until 2024. So for the next 4.5 seasons. Great to tie him down because he is one of my main playmakers out on the wings. Now, he may be getting up there in age, but Susaida on the other wing needs to be tied down as well, and that's exactly what we did, putting him on for the next 1.5 years. 70,000 per week. That is a slight increase from what he's making right now, but because he's getting like 7-1, 7-2 almost every game, it's pretty much warranted. He's got a release clause of 4 million euro because he's getting up there in age, and a 1-year extension after playing 20 league games, which he will be doing that. There's no way in my mind that he won't, unless it's due to injury and whatnot. So Juventus are continuing to mock me with their offers for Lecque. Now they come with a 2.6. I'm not even going to look at it. Reject the offer. 20 million or nothing. So this time versus Las Palmas in the Copa del Rey, we lose to them by the score of 3-2. On our side, Villa Libre getting 2 goals in rapid succession. At that point in time, it leveled the match up, and it looked like we were just going to continuously rapid fire into the back of the net, but the offense, it just stopped. All the shots that were on target were just going willy-nilly at that point in time, and once you know it, last 10 minutes, once again, we give away a game-winning goal. Jonathan Vieira in the 82nd minute with the match winner, giving them the 3-2 advantage for the second leg. But we do have the away goals. We do have the 2 away goals that will help us at home. It's just that we need to fortify ourselves and not let Las Palmas do anything in the second leg. Okay, so not only do we have Juventus going after Lecque, but Barcelona has thrown their name into the hat, and once you know it, once again, offers that are just slaps in the face. 3.1 from Juventus, 2.3 from Barcelona. This kid at 25, 26 years old is playing out of his skin at right back, and you think I'm going to accept 3 million euros for him? You have got to be out your damn mind. So no, once again, rejecting all offers. Lecque is staying as part of the Bilbao club, the Bilbao squad, until a 20 million bid gets thrown in. All right, so the Isma Lopez deal is officially done and over with. He's going out to Granada for 1.2 million euros, and that's funny because we play Granada today. Is he going to be in the starting lineup? Well, let's take a look. And in fact, Isma Lopez was on the starting lineup for the Granada squad. I'm pretty sure he flew over on the same plane as us going to Granada, and then told everybody in the backroom staff exactly how he played because we only came away with a draw versus them. It also didn't help that Lecque was sent out in the 65th minute, and that pretty much directly led to Granada getting the equalizing goal. Villa Libre scoring very early on in the 3rd minute. This kid, all he does is score goals, and I'm really happy that he decides to stick with us. But then in the 80th minute, Granada, as we're down to 10 men, they get themselves the equalizing goal. It was all athletic. It was pretty much all athletic for the entire game as we were just taking the ball deep into their territory. Juventus continuously pissing me off. 3.8 million. I mean, if I throw... see, here's the thing. If I throw 20 million out at them, they'll probably say, okay, we'll accept 20 million, and I would lose Lecque. So at this point in time, continuously rejecting offers from them is probably the main reason and main thing I can do to hold on to Lecque. You don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him go. Why should I ever entertain the offer of getting rid of one of my best players? And by the skin of our teeth, we do in fact get through to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey, beating Las Palmas by the score of 2-0, 4-3 on aggregate, with Villa Libre and Hervias making his return from injury, getting goals. 17 shots, 9 on target, a little bit more possession than them, but it looked a lot better on the pitch. Everyone playing pretty decently, 6'9", 7s on average. A few players getting above that. Either way, we're going through the quarterfinals. And who exactly are going to be facing in the quarterfinals? Well, it's going to be Espanyol. Espanyol moving on by the skin of their teeth through away goals rule 1-1 as they scored a goal at Atletico Madrid, and it was a very chilling 0-0 draw back at Espanyol, taking down Atletico Madrid. So a little bit easy for us in the quarterfinals. Nice little draw for us, but at the same time, there's also still Real Madrid in there. Barcelona didn't move on. Let me take a look. Who took down Barcelona? Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo beat Barcelona by 3-0 on aggregates. So Barcelona is now out of our bracket. The last big team that we could possibly face is Real Madrid, and they're in the other side. The path to the final is now pretty wide open for us. We can't afford to slip up in our next matches. Espanyol, if we get past them, whoever's in the semifinals, and then potentially a meeting with Real Madrid in the final. Once again, Barcelona now with a 2.8 million euro bid. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. They're just slapping me in the face with these lowball offers that I'm never going to accept. That would be insane to get rid of one of my best players at that low cost. It's just not happening. Back in the league, and unfortunately coming away with a loss on our part, a 2-1 loss because of an own goal by Mikel Merino. Wasn't a good look for him. It was just a failed clearance, to be honest with you. Bounced off of his face into the back of the net. I see those way too often in Football Manager. It's just not a good look for the entire match engine. But anyway, Muniain getting a goal for us in the 13th minute, starting it off right. Villarreal answering in the 30th minute. We did do fairly well possession-wise, but once again, it's another game that we just cannot turn possession into shots, as we only had 3 on target. Need to start turning that around. And ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to cut this episode off right now because after the Villarreal match, we got the cup matches versus Espanyol, and honestly, I want to devote episodes to that now that we have gotten ourselves to the quarterfinals. So, at the next episode, we're going to be finishing up the transfer window as well as playing those Espanyol matches. Will there be any sort of valuation for Lecque? Will there be any other players that we're going to be sending out or even bringing in? At this point in time, there really isn't anybody else that I want to bring into the club right now. It's just trying to fend off all the wolves trying to go after some of our players. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of the episode for today. Like I said at the very start, if you want to get a double upload for today, if we can hit 25 likes within the first 2 to 3 hours, then we'll get the second part of the episode where I play Espanyol in the cup matches as well as finish out the transfer window. You know, here's hoping that we can actually hold on to all of these players. I'm sorry that we didn't actually have a lot of transfer movement on our end. It was just Ismael Lopez leaving, but these things happen. Winter isn't always a good time to do the dealings. But anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw, please go and hit that like button, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. If you want to leave a comment below on what you thought about this episode, the transfers, or the series as a whole, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, guys, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.